Chapter 22 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Adi Varaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. As soon as he was born, Swayambhu Manu approached his father and said, "Please command me as to what I should do, and I will obey you." Brahma was pleased with the words of his son and told him that the work of creation should be continued. "I will do it, my lord," said Manu. He continued, but please indicate to me the spot where my creations are to live. I am prepared to take up the task of creation, but the earth has been submerged during the great deluge. She is now in the Netherlands. If you can get her back, I will then be able to do what you wish. Brahma was nonplussed, and he thought to himself, how is the earth to be brought up out of the netherworld? How is the work of creation to take place? Narayana, you commanded me to create, and it is up to you to help me solve this problem. He thought of Lord Narayana. As he was absorbed in meditation, all on a sudden, out of his nostrils jumped out a tiny boar, the size of a fingernail. From the moment it was born, it assumed immense proportions. All those who were watching it realized that it was Narayana himself who had donned the form of a boar to raise the earth from below. The boar sent up a roar which resounded in all directions, and it thrilled the hearts of the onlookers. There rose up a great cry from them, and then all sang together the praises of the Lord. Sniffing the air around him, sniffing the surface of the waters, the magnificent boar entered the ocean suddenly. So terrible and so sudden was the plunge that the ocean was heaving, unable to bear the burden. Swimming and running inside the water, the boar reached the bottom, and there he found the earth. Raising it on his tusks, the boar began to rise up. His progress upwards and towards the surface of the ocean was slow. An Asura tried to stop his progress, but he was killed. The Varaha then continued his interrupted progress. Sanaka and his brothers, Brahma, Marichi and his brothers were all watching with bated breath. Even as they were looking, they saw the earth emerge from the water, and the Varaha was bearing it on his tusks. He placed the earth on the dents formed by his hoofs, and Brahma with the others praised him and his glory. They said, "You are the Lord of Lords, who is worshipped by all men in the form of Yajna. Your form is made up of the 4 Vedas. We salute Narayana, who has assumed the form of Varaha. Your skin is made up of Gayatri and the other Chandas. The hair on your body is named Barhis. Your eyes are Ajya. The right by name Chaturhotra is made up of your legs. It is not given to everyone to see this sacred form of yours." They then compared each individual part of his body to an essential for performing the yajna, and they continued, "We are grateful to you. This earth, lifted by you on your tusk, looks beautiful. She looks like a lotus bud lifted aloft on the trunk of an elephant. We salute you and thank you for restoring to us the earth, the foundation on which the entire creation has to rest. We salute you and your wife, Mother Earth. Because of the drops of the water which you have scattered around you, the heavens have been purified. The spots where your hair has been shed has become holy, fit places for performing yajnas. We pray that your kind, benevolent eyes will ever rest on us." The Lord paused for a while, listening to their words, and vanished from their sight. Vidura intervened and said, "My lord, it is thrilling to hear about this ancient incident. But tell me, who was this Asura? I have heard that Narayana, in the form of a boar, killed an Asura by name Hiranyaksha. This must be he. Tell me how it came about that the Lord himself appeared to kill a mere Asura." Maitreya said, "We have to travel a long distance back to trace the story of Hiranyaksha." Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Chapter 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Diti, Daksha's daughter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 13 of the daughters of Daksha had been given to the Rishi Kashyapa, the son of Marichi. Diti was one of them. Once, when it was evening time, Diti came and stood by the side of her husband. He had just finished the evening worship of fire by pouring milk into it. Diti was full of love and longing, and she wanted him to take her. She spoke to him in a soft, gentle voice and said, "My lord, my body is burning with love for you. Please make me happy by granting me my desire. The suffering caused by the God of love is unbearable." He did not speak a word in reply, and she said, "Please have mercy on me and assuage this pain." Kashyapa looked at her beautiful form and her eyes, which were liquid with love and longing. He looked at her kindly and said, "Certainly, I will make you happy, my beloved wife. A wife is the raft with which man crosses the ocean by name life. She is the one who stays with him during his happy days and during his days of pain. She walks in the path of Dharma with him. She is his Sahadharmachari, and she is his very life. When she is married, a woman is called Jaya because she is born again in the heart of her husband, where she is given a place of honor. You are very dear to me, but please do not ask me to take you now. Look, it is evening time. The sun has just withdrawn his scorching rays, and with a chastened look, he is wheeling away towards the west. This is a hallowed time. This is the time of the day which is sacred to Mahadeva. This is when he promenades on his sacred bull with all the Pramatta attending on him. This is the hour when he watches the world with his three eyes, the sun, moon, and fire. This is the hour when he watches the world with his three eyes, the sun, moon, and fire. With his body covered with the ashes from the burning ground, with his matted locks glowing with the red dust scattered by the traveling breeze, with ashes whitening his golden body, this husband of your sister Sati keeps watch on the world. This is the wrong time to make love. It shows a lack of respect for the great Mahadeva. Wait for a while and I will satisfy you. Be patient." But she would not listen. Angry at the thought of her desire, which would be frustrated and bereft of her reasoning powers as a result of the torment of love, Diti importuned her lord repeatedly, and finally he had to take her to make her happy. When her reason came back to her, Diti remembered the warning of Kashyapa and said, "Overcome with love as I was, I became blind and deaf to my surroundings and to your words. I am afraid I have insulted Lord Mahadeva. Please assure me that this child of mine, which is to be born, will not be destroyed by his anger. I supplicate before him and ask for his mercy. Please say that this sin of mine will be forgiven. Mahadeva is my sister's husband, and he is sure to be compassionate. Please tell me what is going to happen. I am afraid." Kashyapa was silent for a long time. Finally he looked at his wife, who was standing with downcast eyes, and said, "You have sinned. Your mind was filled with earthly desire. When you came to me, you have disobeyed me, and you have insulted Lord Mahadeva by your disrespect towards him. These three faults of yours cannot go unpunished. You will be the mother of two sons who will be wicked. They will harass the three worlds, and the Devas will suffer at their hands. They will try to destroy righteousness on the earth. Holy men will be tortured, and your sons will spell terror for the entire world until Lord Narayana decides to rid the world of its tormentors. Diti knew that it would all come to pass. She fell at his feet and said, I have but one boon to ask of you, my lord. Let my sons be killed by the Lord himself. Let them not die because of the curse of a Brahmin. The one will grant them mukti, while the other is sure to damn them forever and forever. Kashyapa said, any sin will be lessened if the sinner is penitent. You are now sorrow for what happened. You have honored Narayana by wanting him to be the death of your sons, and you have requested me and Mahadeva to forgive you. I therefore assure you that your sons will be killed by Narayana and by no one else. And again, I will tell you something which will comfort you. Your grandson will be the greatest bhakta of Narayana. The world will ever praise his devotion to the Lord. They will remember him as long as the name of the Lord remains on the lips of men. Like gold is cleansed by being so well burnt that all the dross is destroyed, even so men will burn all their worldly desires to be like your grandson in their devotion to Narayana. He will be the ideal bhakta who will worship his beloved Lord day and night against all opposition, and he will reach Narayana when he sheds this body made up of the elements. He will have no attachments. He will be good natured. He will be the home of courage and compassion. Without malice or anger, he will consider everyone to be like himself. He will have no enemies, and he will be like the moon which rains radiance and coolness on the world. With his gentleness, he will gladden the hearts of men. For his sake, the Lord will make an appearance. Your grandson will be one of the rare few who will see the Lord with human eyes. Diti knew that nothing could avert the fate that was to visit her sons because of her foolishness. There was no use in repenting, and she found a semblance of peace at the thought that her sons would meet their deaths at the hand of Narayana and no one else. And again, the fact that her grandson would be a great good man comforted her, and she walked away from the presence of her husband with her head bent and with her eyes full of tears. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnar Pranamastu. Chapter 24 of Srimad Bhagavatam, The Arrogant Doorkeepers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In her womb, the sons of Diti were growing rapidly. The poor woman was afraid for the Devas and for the world. And so, she tried to retain the children inside her and would not let them be born. So they stayed inside her for 100 years. Then a wondrous thing happened. The glow of the unborn children was so great that the world became lusterless. The heavens themselves were losing their splendor, and even the Devas looked less like sons of light than they were wont to. Worried about the eclipse of their glory, the Devas went to Brahma, the creator, and asked him to explain the mystery. He smiled at them and said, "There is nothing here for you to worry, not just now. At any rate, I will tell you the reason for this. Once, my sons Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara went to Vaikunta, the abode of Narayana, with a desire to worship him. They crossed the 6 gates in a hurry and came to the 7th. And they were about to enter Vaikunta. And when they were about to enter Vaikunta, they were stopped. The rishis were prevented from going inside by Jaya and Vijaya. These two were the doorkeepers, and they stepped in front of the rishis and said, 'You cannot enter.' The rishis looked for a moment at these two, who were so handsome, so well dressed, and at the same time so arrogant. Unmindful of their words, the rishis walked towards the seventh gate and again tried to enter the sanctum. The keepers placed their staffs in front of them and said, "You cannot enter." The rishis were now definitely annoyed. In their eyes could be seen traces of anger, the younger brother of desire. In their eyes could be seen traces of anger, the younger brother of desire. Anger, the younger brother of desire. They looked at Jaya and Vijaya and said, "Indeed, it is strange that you, who have been in the presence of the Lord so long, should have this undesirable quality in you. We can see that your position by the side of the Lord has made you proud. We curse you to leave the presence of Narayana. You will be born in the world of men, in the world ruled by Kama, Krodha, Madha, and all other evils. You will be far away from Narayana, whose nearness has blinded you to such an extent that you insult good men." Overcome with horror at the fate awaiting them, Jaya and Vijaya fell at their feet and prayed for forgiveness. The rishis were sorry for them, but they said, "We cursed you since we felt that you both deserved it. But we will modify the curse. Your births will be such that the Lord will dwell in your hearts all the time because of your hatred for him." The two placed their hands on their ears, saying, "Shantam Papam," and exclaimed, "Hatred of the Lord? Hatred? How can that be possible?" And tears rained from their eyes. Lord Narayana appeared there at the moment. The rishis worshipped him. The two young men held on to his feet and would not get up. The feet of the Lord were drenched with their tears. He asked them to rise up. He looked at the young rishis and said, "These servants of mine have insulted you unaware of your greatness. It is but right that you should have cursed them. I approve of your action. Any fault of a servant reflects on the master, and so, on their behalf, I beg you to pardon me. No one is more dear to me than a bhakta, and when that bhakta is insulted, I am very angry. Let them be born in the lower world as you have ordained, and they will come to me later." Slightly ashamed of themselves for their short temper and the hasty curse which they had pronounced on the young men whom the Lord obviously loved so much, the rishis were confused as to whether the Lord was reprimanding them for their lack of control. Knowing what was passing in their minds, Narayana said, "Please do not be upset. I really do approve of this entire incident." Relieved by the reassuring words of the Lord, the rishis worshipped him and went away. Narayana turned to Jaya and Vijaya and said, "I can retract the curse of the rishis, but I will not do so. The curse of Brahmins should not be ignored. Both of you must be born in the world of men. You will have 3 janmas. In one, Krodha will be the cause of your downfall. In the next, Kama will overshadow your actions. And in one, Madha will rule your actions. But let me assure you of one thing. You will be killed by me and only me. You will finally come back to me. You will hate me with an inordinate hatred. That is also a yoga in which you will think more of me than if you had been my bhaktas. This Sambrahma Yoga will be your special privilege, and you will be granted release from the 3 janmas, which will last the end of Dwapara, the 3rd quarter of time." The Lord vanished from their sight, and they descended to the earth. "These servants of Narayana," concluded Brahma, "are lodged in the womb of Diti, and it is their glow which is eclipsing the glory of the earth and the heavens. There is no other reason for it." After 100 years, 2 sons were born to Diti, twins. Their father called them Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Their birth was attended by several evil omens, which indicated great calamity for the world. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Chapter 25 of Srimad Bhagavatam, The Killing of Hiranyaksha. The brothers grew in strength and power. They worshipped Brahma. They performed several tapas. They performed severe tapas and pleased the Creator. Hiranyakashipu wanted immortality as a boon. Brahma said that he could not grant it, since he himself was not free from the sting of death. The Asura then modified his words. He said, "Then grant me this, my lord. No god should kill me, and no man should kill me. Nothing that has been created by you should be the cause of my death. No weapon should be capable of hunting me. No living being nor a non-living thing should be able to destroy me. I should not die in the daytime nor during the night. I should not die on the earth nor in the sky, not inside my house nor outside it." Hiranyakashipu thought of all the possibilities and asked for immunity from them all. "So be it," said Brahma, and vanished from there. The brothers then set out on a conquest of the worlds. The Devas were easily vanquished, and Hiranyaksha, ever desirous of pleasing his brother, set out all by himself in search of new glory. They had been told that Narayana was the Lord of Lords, and they hated him with an inordinate hatred. They felt that the world would be all theirs if only they could destroy this Narayana. Hiranyaksha entered Vibhavari, the city of Varuna, who is the lord of the nether worlds. Hiranyaksha bowed arrogantly in front of Varuna and with mock humility said, "My lord, please grant me the privilege of fighting with me. You are famed for your prowess. In days of yore, you defeated all the Daityas and performed the Rajasuya. Thus you became the ruler of the nether world. I will be honored by a fight with you." The Asura then laughed boisterously. Varuna controlled his anger and also with mock humility said, "My dear Hiranyaksha, I am old and I am here, giving up fighting since long ago. The desire to fight has left me. There is only one person who will fight with you willingly and who is capable of giving you a good fight. That is the one, the Lord, the ancient, the great Narayana. Fight with him and you can reach him." Varuna was silent for a while. He added after a pause, "He takes different forms for the sole purpose of destroying evil beings like you. He will rid you of your arrogance, and because of him, you will be lying on the field of battle, fit only to be the food for dogs and jackals." Hiranyaksha was highly elated at the thought that Narayana would be willing to give him fight. He ignored the parting words of Varuna. The Asura went round the palace, round the place, and kept on searching for his arch enemy. While he was thus wandering around, Narada came to him as though he were in a hurry, and coming very near Hiranya, spoke excitedly. "Hiranya, I was told that you are in search of Narayana, that you want to fight with him and destroy him. Is this true?" "True," exclaimed Hiranyaksha. "Of course it is true. The entire world knows that I have spent years, many of them, looking for this Lord of Lords, as you call him. If only someone will show me where he is hiding, I will be no end grateful to him." "Then you can be grateful to me," said Narada. "I know where he is. That is why I came rushing to you to tell you about it. You remember how the earth has been buried in the Rasathala since the great deluge, the Mahapralaya. The Lord wants to re-establish her, and he has now taken the form of a boar to lift her up from the Rasatala. He is even now returning to the surface of the sea with the earth in his arms. If you hurry, you can catch him and fight with him. Thanking Narada profusely, Hiranya rushed to where the sacred Varaha was. He shouted at him and said, "Listen to me, you beast! You are stupid to think that you can steal this earth and run away while I am looking on. Remember, she was given by Brahma to us, to those who live in Rasatala. You cannot take her away. You have no right over her. You are a thief. Though you have assumed the form of a boar, I know that you are Narayana, the enemy whom I have been seeking. I have heard of your achievements. You have managed to cheat us all these years. You kill us with the help of your Maya. Never once have you fought a straightforward battle with any of us. It is for this purpose that the Devas, our dear enemies, call you the Lord of Lords and make much of you. Not anymore. Those days have gone. I am here, and that means that the days of your glory have come to an end. I have found you, and I will not let you go without fighting with me. I will today dispatch you to the abode of death and rid the Asuras of the one and only thorn in their path." Ignoring the words of Hiranyaksha, the Lord tried to rise out of the ocean. But Hiranya pursued him and said, "You are shameless. That is why you are trying to run away from me and my valor. I have been looking for you since ever so long. I will not let you go easily. Do not run away from me. I want that fight which my arms have been itching for ever since I heard about you." Varaha placed the earth on the surface of the sea, and he established her firmly. He then turned towards Hiranyaksha and said, "It is because I am a beast that I am listening to your words. Only animals are obliged to listen to the barking of a dog. Really, brave men do not and are not obliged to listen to your ravings. You are already caught in the clutches of death, or else you will not talk like this to those more powerful than you. As you mentioned earlier, I am a thief who was trying to steal the earth from this Rasatala when no one was looking, but you have found me out. You say you have sworn to rid the path of the Asuras of the one thorn which is hurting their feet. I am ever compassionate, and I cannot bear to see the bleeding feet of your friends, nor can I bear to see a great hero like you break his promise. That is why I am staying, or else I would have run away long ago." The sneer and contempt in the voice of the boar, a mere animal, made Hiranyaksha wild with rage. He raised his mace and rushed towards the Lord. He was hissing like a serpent, and his head was reeling because of his extreme anger. He came near the Varaha and hit him hard with his gada. The Lord averted the blow by moving away from its path, like a yogi would, the coming of Yama. He then raised his own gada and hit Hiranya on the brow. Hiranya moved away and hit back with his gada. They fought for a long while with their gadas, and it was a fight watched by everyone with bated breath. Hiranya was no mean warrior, and his opponent was the Lord himself. Brahma and the rishis had come to Rasatala to watch this magnificent fight. With his mind, Brahma spoke to Narayana and said, "Lord, in a moment of weakness, flattered by their penances, I granted boons to this sinner and to his brother. They are bent on harassing all those who love you. The world is suffering because of them. He is very powerful. Please do not trifle with him any longer. Evening time is drawing near. I do not have to tell you that the Asuras become stronger as night draws nearer. It is now the sacred hour by name Abhijit. Please rid the world of this sinner now. The Lord smiled as if to say, I am time, and this son of mine teaches me about the purity of the Abhijit Muhurta and about the power of the Asuras increasing as though I may be vanquished. He rushed towards Hiranya and hit him on the chin with his gada. However, Hiranya warded off the blow with his gada. It was indeed a very clever fight he was fighting. The gada of the Lord was crushed, and the Asura waited for a while as though he honored the rules of the fighting, which forbids an opponent to hit the other if he is weaponless. Varaha called for the chakra, and it came to his hand. Hiranya was still fighting only with the gada. He threw it at the Lord, who caught it with his left hand. When he tried to return it, Hiranya would not take it back. After fighting with several weapons, they finally began to wrestle with each other. Finally, with his strong and very beautiful fist, the Lord, in the form of Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.